Hey friends, so today I thought I would talk about art and creativity. So one of the things whenever I draw people ask is like, what do I use? So first off, let me just say I am not a professional artist. I am not a trained artist outside of art classes that I took in school. That's like all the formal instruction I've ever had. I am very much a chaotic creative. I kind of just do whatever I feel like doing. Okay, so this is what I've been using. It's a watercolor book because it doesn't bleed through too much with marker. This is like my test page. And then, so I started off using these. They're just cheap markers. I just use the brush tip. I got these from a store called Five Below. It's like a dollar store, but slightly more expensive. Most of these are about done. So they are being retired, and this actually, a microphone came in this, but it's like perfect for my art supplies. Anyway, my wife found these Sharpies, so these are what I'm using now. So it's like a brush tipped Sharpie, which is kind of cool. So it's like a paintbrush, but without the paint. And then she also got me these. They're like Posca markers, honestly. They're cheaper than Posca markers, which is great because Posca markers are expensive, and I let my kids use my Posca markers, and they're pretty much toast. Anyway, for drawing, I use this. It's not even a drawing pencil. It's the Tool 0.7 whatever mechanical pencil. I love it for writing and for drawing because it feels like a pen. And then for the inking, I use this fine-tipped Sharpie. And then I have other stuff in here just for whatever. This is actually one of those tattoo markers. I used to use to draw myself. And then I have regular Sharpies. And I don't remember, oh dang it, I don't remember where I got this, but it's an oil paint marker. I just use for random whatevers. Anyway, so those are my supplies. Fancy, right? Anyway, whatever. People with more money probably have cooler toys, but it's all for fun. So anyway, so I'm going to go through some of my art pieces, and then I'm also going to try to show the piece that inspired it, if that is available. Most of these came from the book I was talking about, Takashi Murakami's Unfamiliar People art book, that I've been kind of like using like a textbook, if you will, just kind of studying the drawings and learning from them. So this one is, let's see here, that's definitely from the Unfamiliar People series. I put tabs to try to help me find these a little bit faster. Okay, yeah, it's this guy. So this is the original piece that is from his Unfamiliar People series, the actual piece, and I drew this guy instead. So as you can see, it's obviously not a one-to-one, but it's really not supposed to be. The idea was to create something definitely derivative of it, but inspired by it. I loved the multiple eyes. As a highly masking autistic adult, I feel like I'm always living in a state of hyper-awareness. I'm always aware of my surroundings, and that's always been the case. So I loved the idea of eyes everywhere because that's what it feels like. I loved the melted color scheme. And I think I put the caption, "What is normal?" Just because it is a weird looking guy, and that's a question I ask myself all the time, like, what is normal? Anyway, so that's that one. This piece is not anywhere in the book, but this is the piece that I've already talked about over and over again. It's called Tea with the Ancestors. This is inspired by the time that I spend by the water whenever I can, having tea. In Yoruba tradition, my understanding, I could be wrong, but is that like water holds memory, and then spaces where the water meets the sand is sacred liminal space because it's a space of transition from water to land or land to water. And so this was kind of like a drawing for that. The eyes representing the ancestors, not only recording history, but also just observing, watching, looking out for me kind of thing. Water holds their stories in water, both good and bad, happy and tragic. I really love this piece. This is the piece that I entered in the contest of the museum. We'll see what happens with that. This one is inspired by, this one's definitely from the book. It's from 757 by Takashi Murakami. So this is the piece that inspired it. And for him, I believe this is a reflection on post Hiroshima, Japan. I could be completely wrong, so I'm not going to say anything else. 727. Good grief. Anyway, so as you can see, again, not a one-to-one on any level, but just looking at it and creating my own figure, giving it cat ears. I changed the style of eyes. Again, not trying to make a one-to-one, but studying it and then kind of putting my own personal spin on it and still putting my own creativity in the work, which I find gives it a deeper meaning, and I have a better connection with the art this way, for me anyway. This is another figure from his Unfamiliar People series. This one is closer to a copy, but you'll see very quickly that I am far from. Okay, I'm going to stop trash talking my own drawings. I have a really bad habit of doing that. Sorry, bear with me. I can't use a book. Anyway, so this is like the whole thing. So there's lots of little characters in there, so I haven't drawn all of them. So again, this was the one that I looked at. I mostly copied. The body was as close to copying it as I could get, as you can see. Obviously, I took some liberties here and there, but that was pretty close. But then when you got to the head, I could not match the detail, as you can see. So again, this was probably the closest attempt to actually trying to imitate something. And then I just kind of veered off and tried to put a hat on it, and obviously I didn't have enough space, so oh well. But it was still a really fun project. I really enjoyed drawing it and creating that piece. And let's see here. So this piece is called Identity. It is, I don't know. There's more to this, but I don't want to go into it right now. Very personal. This was just random drawing eyes. I drew an eye, and then I wanted to draw I think I did this, then this, and that, and that. Anyway, just tried different shapes, drawing eyeballs. That's about as deep as that gets. I was bored. And then that was a stencil that my wife found for me. And I keep saying my wife got this for me. She is really sweet and is always looking for creative things for me. Anyway, so I'm rather spoiled. This was a coworker came to work wearing a shirt that one of our international students got for him, and oh, now I forget what country. Anyway, but these two elements were like a repeated pattern within the shirt, and we were in a meeting, and I had my book with me, so I drew it. This is actually a coworker's child who wanted to draw, and so I let her draw in my book. Let's see here. So this piece is from, sorry for shaking it, Bobo Black Hole. Where are you? Nope. Yep. Alright, so here is the original piece. So as you can see, there's a lot going on here. This little piece right here, those two guys, that was the inspiration, just seeing them kind of like co-joined drawing heads or whatever. And so I just focused on the two, again, putting my own slight spin on it, made them melting. So again, it was really fun just to kind of spend the time focused on a piece of his work and really looking at it and trying to recreate it to the best of my ability, and then putting my own whatever on it. This last piece I'm still working on, and this has nothing to do with Takashi Murakami. This is called Bait and Switch. It's probably my first political, no, not my first. but I don't do a lot of politically themed pieces. But the concept is that for some people, especially when you're talking about immigration, they come to America looking for liberty and freedom, drawn in by the promise of the Statue of Liberty. And for some of them, it's not what they experience, and it's almost like the mask falls off and it's hell. Anyway, so if you don't like it or don't agree with it, that's fine. You're not hurting my feelings. This isn't meant to change anybody's opinion. It was really just me expressing my own thoughts. Anyway, but I do want to give it a background. And that is everything that I've drawn lately. So for those that care, I know I'm not an art, this is not an art channel, I'm not an art person in that context. I don't sell art or anything like that. Art, like my poetry, is really just a way for me to tell stories and communicate or express my own creativity or whatever. Anyway, thanks for watching. Love you guys.